perspective. There's so much data coming at you from so many different places. It could often be in multiple languages, right, Rem? It's not just going to be in one language and in another language. It might be in 5, 6 different languages. So somebody has to handle the entirety of this across multiple continents. And each one of these different work streams might contain a very important critical element to the case and the outcome of where it moves and how they understand to build the facts. So the risk management, let's talk about that a little bit more. Risk management, confidentiality, because what you're dealing with here is very sensitive information. You want that information to be safeguarded. And that's a very critical thing because you're having access to internal communications of companies that otherwise can be very sensitive, and if in the wrong hands can impact entire industries, can impact entire companies' financial position. And so talk about the risk management in document review and project management.
I think that's exactly right, Jonathan. When a firm is trying to apportion costs, or when a client who's hired the firm is trying to apportion costs for where they want to apply money and where they don't, they have to be cognizant of how much risk they're willing to undertake in managing the costs involved in litigation. In the case that you have, say, $1 billion at stake for an antitrust case, or even like 20, 30, $40 million for different types of cases. Anything that has a 1%, 2% chance of having an effect on the outcome of the litigation can have a value to the company in the hundreds of thousands, millions, or even tens of millions of dollars. So let's say in 98% of cases, it would make no difference whether you had a cut rate manager who, doesn't speak the language, doesn't provide any particular leadership skills or management ability to the review, but they're much cheaper. And then you have 2% of the time a manager that does make a difference in terms of the outcome of the litigation, in terms of finding the critical document that the firm needed. That 2% value, you have to look at the overall cost of the litigation. Say, if it's $100 million, 2% is $2 million. So the question I think that any person who's looking at to manage the cost has to ask themselves is, how much difference is this going to make, and how much of a cost am I willing to pay for it? If you have a very, very small case where you have like $50,000 at stake, the answer might be, I'm willing to take that 2% risk. If the cost difference is more than $1,000, then 2%, I'm gonna go ahead and take that risk. But if the company is facing a $1 billion antitrust penalty, then 2% of $1 billion is $20 million. So you have to ask yourself at that point, will choosing this vendor who's giving me a lower quote, is that going to make more of a difference than that? So the larger the litigation amount becomes, or am I willing to go to prison for this? Or is it okay that some of my employees might go to prison for this? That also is part of the analysis in terms of your risk management, in terms of what kind of quality am I looking for in a litigation vendor.